Thank you everyone for joining. We've got, as I said, a full house here. And I think everyone's just as excited as I am to listen to our speaker, who is Oberom. Oberom, it's my great pleasure to introduce you. I know that you are teaching yoga and also pranic processes in Brazil. And this is a 21-day process. And I also know that you've written some books. I'm just going to name the titles: Journey in the Light, No Flow of Happiness, and Yoga Vegan. There might be more that I don't know about if you've written more than those ones, but I'm going to just welcome you. I know we're all anxious to hear what you have to share with us. And thank you so much for joining us at the festival this year.
Thank you so much for this invitation. And hello, sisters and brothers. I'm very happy to be here today and share a little bit of my experience with all of you. Okay. Well, um, I will start, okay? To talk and talk and talk. Um, I will start with the story of my family, and that could be something interesting for you that are searching about these possibilities. And for me, it's very special to talk about this because this I see many people changing, many people really feel connection with this dialogue and sometimes make good choices in their lives. So yeah, it's a pleasure to talk about this. Well, my parents they came from São Paulo. That is a very huge city in Brazil. Is the hugest one. That is like 10 million people in one place. That is more than many countries have. And a very noise city, very rush and very noisy. And people work a lot looking for money and very stressful life, like many people live today in our capitalism world. But they had the decision to move to a countryside in another state called Minas Gerais. And in this state, I was born. This in 1884. So I have this age. And they decide to move to close to the nature and have a more connection with the nature. But the main point was to develop their journey of self-knowledge. And like a consequence of this, the family start to grow. And after 1.5 years, I was born, and then my brother and another brother and sister and other brother and sister and sister and sister. Well, we are 10. And they was um, disciples of Paramahansa Yogananda, the yogi that teaches Kriya Yoga. So I was born in a place, in a home where my parents work with yoga, study yoga, learn yoga, and the main inspiring source was Yogananda with his book Autobiography of a Yogi. Well, in this book, there is 2 chapters where he talks about pranic nourishment. And this is something that I will go in, but I will try to to I don't know the word, but I will try to hand your hands and go to beyond of this point of pranic consciousness, something that is for me now it's more important. Okay. And well, we grow up with a vegetarian diet, doing surya namaskar almost every day, and doing some pranayamas. And when we was very agitated and noise, they ask us to meditate and observe our breath. So this is the home that I grew. When I was 17, a neighbor of us came to our place with a book called Living on Light from Jasmine. And for us was like, okay, interesting. But the point, the point that really makes us to be very attentive to that knowledge was the fact of Jasmuhin start his searching through Autobiography of a Yogi from Paramahansa Yogananda. So that was the connection that makes us like, wow, okay, let's see this carefully and really try to understand the point where she wants to go with this knowledge. Few months later, my mother, after read that book, she said, well, I have to experience this because I think the knowledge is really ground us when we experience. So she go into the 21-day process, and her belief system was like, if someone don't take food, they will he will feel hungry and probably be very sick or fraco, without energy to do things. And when someone don't take water, probably they really feel huge thirst. So her belief systems make her live that experience. So she became very, very, very um, hungry, thirst, and she started the second day laying down, and she couldn't standing until the last day of her process. So was a very traumatic process, was not smoothly, it was not easy, was something really strong. And for us that see her from outside was like, wow, my mom going to die. But inside, when she tell us what was her feeling inside, when we comprehend that no, something really deep and really strong are happening, and we cannot measure just looking her body. It's something that is inside. And after the process, she became very, very shine. I don't know, very light, not enlightened, but full of light, full of her eyes, and I don't know the word, but it's something like we perceive her
And radiant.
radiant. She was radiant. And of course, everybody in our home wants to be the same, to feel that state of joyness. And so after 3 months, because we was in the school time, we needed to wait until we go to our process. So when the holidays starts, we go to our process. At the time, I have 17. My brother Samadhi had 16, and my sister Nirvana had 13. So like a child. And my mother in that moment think, oh, perhaps I will try to convince her to not doing now, because she is in the aging of growing, and to spend 21 days without food maybe can be bad to her, something like that. But my sister Nirvana was like super connected with this calling, and she made the process. We all made the process. Was a fantastic experience that really changed the way we see our lives and we see the world around us. All of this happened in an alternative community. So we born in our house, because that was the way that my mother chose, and very natural birth, and we didn't take any medicine, allopathic medicine, only natural things. So these strange things, people around us was like accustomed, like they, okay, that family is crazy and it's okay, let's uh, keep them in their way, and okay. But when we tell people that we stop to take food, then the things change. People really became worried about what we was doing, especially for the topic of our sisters and brothers, the youngest one. And at that time, the Nirvana was the youngest. So we spent like 2 years until the next brother do the same. And he was 14 years old when he made the process. And after 2 years, another sister made the process with 13 years old. And then another 1 year to the other sister do with 13 years old. So yeah, the house became a laboratory. Each one had a different reactions. Each one had a different impression and discovers. And always we meet and circle and talk about our experience and our feelings, our insights. And it was a very rich time, but for some reason, people start to come to our place to be assisted, to be carried by us. And okay, for in the beginning, we don't accept it. That's like, okay, come and do the process, we can care of you. In the beginning was like, okay, it's somebody that we don't know. We don't know the story. We don't know what happens in their lives. So we need to be attentive and worry because it's something strong that we are doing. And they start to come and use our home, our habitations, our
Your house, your home.
yeah, like the place where I sleep or where Samadhi sleep. We start to move to another place in the home to people do the process inside of our house. And that was like a little bit challenge because the youngest is still eating, so we cooking food and people doing the process. So in the beginning was everything, it was like, okay, we will continue with this, or maybe we stop and send people out of our house. Very was a challenge, true challenge. But in 2003, we received like a gift, a land with a little structure of farm hotel, something like that, but a very small, like 10 rooms. And then we start to create in that place something that can help people in a very simple, of course, a very simple infrastructure, but a place where people can have some comfort, some comfort. Yes. So in 2003, March 2003, people start to come and use this place, and later we call this place Portal Parvati. This in 2003. 10 years after our starting, we start to see strange things, like people came to our place, made a process, and back to their lives. And when they back, they get all bad habits again. And some people have a severe trouble with the like anorexia.
Eating disorder.
Yeah. And we start to think, wow, what we are doing wrong, because if the process was gave from ascensional masters, it's perfect. So something we are doing wrong. It's not the process. It's something that we cannot uh, do better, or we didn't understand something. We lose something. We don't know. So we start to questioning our work, and in the end, we had some points, and this is what I want to share with you. The first point is the great powers, like in yoga we say the siddhis, can be a trap, can be something that we feel that we are doing good, but in some way it's like a this distraction, no distraction, like no focus.
Distraction. Yes.
Distraction, yes. Thank you. Okay. And well, this is the first point. We have many power possibilities, like bilocation, telepathy, telekinesis. We can live without food. We can levitate. We can. This is all in the yoga inscriptions. This talks about this all potentialities that we have. But there is something that comes first, before that, and that points it's uh, much more higher and important than going to the powers. I will try to make more clear. For example, we know that is wrong to lie. So we recognize the true, to speak the truth as the best way. We all know this. But the nature of mind, manas, this noise mind, sometimes recognize that, okay, I will lie here just to receive something that gave me more pleasure and more satisfaction. And sometimes I made something wrong and I don't want to recognize that I made something wrong, so I lie to just justify why I did that. We know that is wrong to lie, but we do. And sometimes we have no power to change this. And actually, sometimes we don't care about this. We just want to be a superhero, and we want to jump some steps. And the simple things like not harm others, not speak truth, or these simple things. Sometimes we looking far, like, okay, I will try to levitate my body, and and I don't care about what I say or what I think or what I do. But these steps is the only way that we can increase our vibration. Increase our vibration until the level where the power can be managed in the divine way. I mean, the way that will not put us back in the scale of evolution. So if I don't observe ethical principles, perhaps when I looking for the powers, I will lose my way and I need to back to the end of the line. Something like that. So we start in 2010 to tell people that the 21-day process, it's not for stopping eating. It's not to get a power of nourishing the body by prana. It's a way where we can see clearly our belief systems, our patterns, our, the things that we have. So it's a process of self-knowledge. And through self-knowledge, we can do conscious choice. And when we do that, we can increase our vibration into the level of gratitude and the level of love and the level of happiness and the level of peacefulness. And then maybe we can join that power, that level that is go beyond the aspect of just be a human.
Transcend.
Okay, you sent. If you have questions, it's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then we encourage people to, when they go into the process, we encourage them to observe themselves, but especially to maintain their selves in the present moment. When we start that, everything makes much more sense. People start to go to a place where they really change their lives. Because before, people made the process and try to live a life where they cannot manage, they cannot support. After 3 months, all of them back to eat normally. Normally, I mean with meat, with dairy, with industrial things, So, and that provoked a lot of trouble in their lives. People became very frustrated. The feeling of I'm sorry.
Say the word in Portuguese because I have Jan here who will say it in English for you.
Ok. O sentido de não conseguir manter uma vida, ou a frustração de não conseguir manter uma vida do jeito que idealizavam, né?
The frustration of not being able to keep a life that they idealized, that they had in their minds.
Yeah, thank you. So in the end, we recognize it that the process was something that uh, didn't make um, didn't give to people a good experience. They had a very point experience that makes something special, but after that became uh, this this frustration and this feeling of impotence, or even people lose their hope, lose their belief that is possible. But after 2010, we start to see that when people came to do the process without the focusing in stop eating, when they changed the focus and going to self-knowledge, many of them after the process had a more gentle way to drive their lives. I mean, some of them continue with a lictarian diet, like juices, but the point of the life was not to be a lictarian. No, it was just a consequence of that state of being, that state of happiness. So we saw by this 20 years of working with people that the first point that we really need to see is to be a better person. I mean, in a very simple and basic meaning, to be a better person. The consequence of to be a better person is that we can be a little bit more free to do good choices. Even if I want to fasting for 1 week, I will feel that, okay, I'm fine. Yeah, I feel my body is strong because my consciousness, it's not it's clear, it's happy. So I have this power, this emanations of good feelings. But when my thought is I will stop eating, I will live from light, and I don't care about this being, this self, this human that I am, and these small things like speak the truth or don't harm others. Uh, Normally, people just sustaining this for a little, a couple of months, no more than that. Maybe 1 year. Wow, 1 year only lictarian, but there's no strong sense of purpose. I don't came to this earth to just don't take food. I have much more thing to. My experience of being, it's higher than that. I came maybe to help Mother Earth. I maybe came to help people, brothers and sisters. So there is a great meaning of being here. So after 2010, when we focusing to discover who we are, in the present moment, or to encourage people to be more present, we understood something. When I start to exercise myself in the way of be aware, looking the phenomenons around me that creates life, or that is life. I mean, people around me, the environment, this, when I am in that position of observer, I am in the present moment. I cannot be an observer from past or future. I just can be an observer here and now. I know this is not new. I know everybody knows this. But when we incorporate this in our work, makes much more sense and really help people in their journey. So they, across the 21-day process, and after that, their life became like something wonderful, like something light, with purpose, and the focus was not maintain a light diet. The purpose was to be a being that is like a healer for the planet, to be something that can, to be somebody that can inspiring people to be better. Uh, of course, this didn't happen with everybody. Some people are really rebel, and when they came, we talk about this, and people, but they just want to stop eating, and the process just be like a small initiation, and after that they back home thinking, okay, now I am a superman, and I can do I can do everything, and I have the power. But 2 months later they feel like hungry, or they really lose weight, and they feel like uh, that cannot work properly in their regular lives. So the point is going to the self-knowledge, work inside in ourselves as a human being, as a animal, and try to see where is the points that makes us so rebel, makes us so against of obedience or coherence, or why we have this problem to look at the simple things and don't wish to make this as our goal, our, I don't know if you understand what I mean, but
I understand.
inside of
Thank
you
you.
understand. Okay,
Does
okay,
everyone
thank you.
understand what he's saying? We're getting nods. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, then we have like a circle of virtue that we say, that is, to maintain the happiness, it's important to maintain the observer. It's not easy to maintain the observer because our mind is always looking for new stimulus, and our ego wants pleasure, just pleasure. And some of this pleasure harm ourselves. So the first point is discipline. I know egos don't like discipline, but discipline is something that really liberate us, maintain happiness, and maintain
Sorry,
the
Oberon.
observer.
I'm just
Yeah,
making some notes of what you're saying into the chat so everyone can read it later.
thank you. So when we work to be a more obedient being, like obedient, I mean be obedient of our own consciousness, not to be obedient of a leader or obedient of a guru or a government or a ideology. Obedient of our inner voice, our divine being. That I mean be obedient. So when we decide to be that person that really uh, uh, feels that can follow the inner truth, we have to have some disciplines. I mean, some techniques or some, I don't know. I for example, every day in the morning I do vipassana. I don't know if you know vipassana, but it's a technique of meditation that is just observe, observe the sensations, observe the breath. Very easy, very no, not easy, but very simple, and have a great effect, especially for my daily life, because I have all my days, I have decisions and to make. And when I more aware, I can manage better. I can do choices that will not harm others, will not harm the planet, will not harm myself, and perhaps I can help others in my choices. So through the discipline, we get muscles to maintain the observer. Because if I just try to observe once a week, I will not have that effect of maintain the observer in the situations that is more chaotic. But if I training my observer every day, when the chaotic experience came, I can be more neutral. I can be more equanimous. And when I am in that state, even the things look like a confusion, I can see more clear what I have to do in that situation. I know that you know what I mean. And so through this discipline, I have stronger to maintain my observer. Okay. We are able to maintain our observer through this discipline. When I am more aware, I will perceive that there is some habits in my life, my daily life, that really take off my energy. For example, the diet. If I have A gentle diet, I mean more organic, natural things. If I chewing a lot, I give less trouble to my body, and I use energy to digest, but I have lot of energy um, disponível.
Leftover.
So this energy that I have, I can use to the observer. When I talk about diet, and last year or before last year, I don't remember, I talk about a lot of the diet, especially the vegan diet. That is something, but is not all. And especially to not put in violence or sadness. If I want to be happy and have a high vibration, I have to put love inside. I have to put peace inside, because we have a second brain. You remember that our intestine is our second brain. So if I put bad things, I think bad things. And if I think, I attract. And my life, it's like a normal life, like everybody, like noise, desires, and no focus, and egos, and more attention, more stimulus, more pleasure, and the consequence of this also. So depression and sadness, loneliness, and illness is all things that we are tired to know. Well, when I observe the discipline and the diet, I have strong enough to maintain my observer. When I observe, I go to the present moment. Okay? When I am in the present moment, is my consciousness that are guiding my life. This is something that can operate for most of the time, but also it's quite normal that we also have this space where the ego use the mind to do what they want to do. So more and more we exercise our consciousness, less and less is the space where egos interact, or use the mind to do their wishes. Egos live in the past and future. Memories, traumas, ideals, imaginations. This is not bad, but to live only in these two spaces, illusionary spaces, it's like losing the life, the real life that happening right now, here in your share, where you are. This is the life. And the thoughts that you are having right now, maybe part of the thoughts it's ego, judging and doing comparison where with the things that we learned before, or in the future, thinking, wow, maybe I will do this 21-day process and maybe I can imagine if I can levitate my body, wow, and imagination. So I am not here at this moment. But when I exercise myself to be here, I will see the real miracle. And the real miracle is to be alive, to be here with lot of joy, lot of love, and feel the love of life. This is incredible. I will not try to uh, talk about this because it's something beyond words. And when I observe and go to the present moment, I go out of the ego. So I am consciousness. When I am consciousness, I have two ways to choice. When something is wrong, through our conscience, I can change that. Or if I cannot change, I accept. In the way that I not fight with the reality. Is it possible to understand what I say?
Is everyone understanding what he's saying? We're getting a lot of yeses and nods. Oberom, I also want to remind you that we're about at the hour. So
Okay.
if you want to take questions, we will have only a short time, but please continue as.
Thank you to remind me. I will go to the circle of virtual, very short. When I observe, I go to the present moment. When I in the present moment, I am consciousness. When I am consciousness, I recognize the life, the reality as perfect because have no fight. When the reality is perfect, I am happy. I can be happy. And when I am happy, my vibration come up. And when my vibration come up, I have more energy to observe. And when I observe, I go to the present moment. And when I am in the present moment, I am consciousness. And the consciousness recognize the reality as perfect. And when I recognize as perfect, I can be happy. And when I happy, my vibration goes up and I have more energy to observe. And when I observe, I go to the present moment, and that's all, and on and on. So thank you so much for your patience to listen to me. And I hope this talk makes sense for you and can help you in your journey. So if you have some questions, I am here.
So we're at the hour. I just want to take 5 minutes. If we have a couple of questions, I'm going to limit it to 3 short questions. Does anybody have questions for Oberom? Okay, we have one here. Yeah.
Hi, Oberon. I'm just interested to know or to hear how your siblings did when they did the process so young, like 13 years of age.
My sleeping, I didn't understand.
Your siblings is your brothers and sisters. How did they go with this process? How did they fare being so young? What happened for them?
Great. Thank you for your question. Well, they have a very strong connection with the divine journey. So since our youngest life, we have this connection of devotion, of to be more connected with God. So our belief was like, if I can do this process, I will be closer of the divine beings and God. So that was our real motivation. And when they start the process, they had some examples. So they saw us. They saw that we go in, and when we come out of this process, everything goes well. So they have this belief that everything was okay. And after the process, we get a diet with more liquids, and they also, my brothers and sisters, the same. And in 2010, some of them was like 4 years doing this. We back to eat more conscious, and if we observe the way they growth and everything was perfect, like no lose, everything goes normal, like in the physiology was everything okay. And I think the way that they do, the why they do was to get more connection, and this was something that really helped them to across this challenge moment.
Great. Thank you so much, Oberom, for that answer. Do we have any other questions this time? Okay. Does everyone remember the circle of virtue? Great. Thank you. We're getting yeses and smiles. I think we're going to wrap it up because you've been really generous with your time. Thank you so much, Oberom, for speaking to us in such a beautiful English. We understood everything you said, and we didn't need to use our lovely translator here very much. And I want to thank you again for joining us at the Pranic World Festival. And everyone here is really happy as much as I am. I'm quite sure it was a packed room here today. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom and your sharings. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the time, and to be listened is an honor. I just want to tell you that I just finalized a documentary called Muko, and in a few months we'll go to Europe. So just save this information. Thank you so much and have a great time.
Thank you, Oberom. Can you type the title of that film into the chat and we will share it with the group here? Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So the title of the documentary is Muko, M-U-C-O.
Exactly.
So it will be coming to Europe soon. And Jan here is saying it means mucus.
Exactly. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. We have another speaker at 6. Please tend to your bodies, to your hearts, and we see you again.